welcome to New and In Between, hosted by me, Mia Quinn Maddox, where I'll be discussing the hows and whys to my journey towards my faith. I've learned through my highs and lows that this path is not mine to travel alone. Join me mid journey as I embrace my wins, losses, and everything in between. Hello, everyone. Welcome to New and In Between. I am your host, Mia Quinn Maddox, and here we are, episode 3, season 4, New and In Between. One man show, solo over here. So, hello, everyone. Hello. I hope everyone enjoyed the last episode, Ebbs and Flow, as I talked about my kayaking adventure with my sister. And we did a bonus episode for the Met Gala, me and my nephew Maddox. So last week I released 2 episodes. So I hope that gave you enough to satisfy you until now. So within this last 2 weeks, I've had a birthday. I turned 45. Yay for me. Shout out to all the Tauruses. I turned 45 and it's kind of surreal because I remember just turning 40. I also remember turning 35. But I'm 45. I'm very happy. I had a very beautiful birthday. I had so many people remember. That's all I really wanted was people to remember. So I got tons of texts. I got tons of texts and I got tons of shout outs on Instagram and people shouting me out for my birthday. And maybe people don't really care about their birthday, but I really do care about my birthday. It's just another year. It's like my new year. So for someone to remember or just to take 2 seconds out of their day to say happy birthday or to, it really does mean a lot to me. I wanted to do this episode. I've been trying some new locations, so I was actually outside, but I wanted to do this episode in my house because I wanted to showcase my flowers. Yes, look at these peonies. My sister bought me this beautiful bouquet of peonies from a very beautiful florist that we go to on a regular basis, Plant Shed. And this is the most beautiful bouquet of peonies I think I've ever received. Every single one has opened to its full, like to full bloom. It's so pretty and they smell so good. So I really just wanted to do the episode in my house so that I could put these flowers in here. Shout out to Joe at Plant Shed and my sister for sending these to me on my birthday. I was shocked and I was happy. I wasn't really too shocked because my sister takes care of me. She made sure that my birthday was absolutely fabulous. But I was very, I mean, these are beautiful flowers. They're beautiful flowers. So I just wanted to showcase them so they could be forever because flowers, I really enjoy flowers because they die. And it may sound crazy, but I like to receive flowers because they're temporary and I like to enjoy the smell and the beauty and the colors. And we think that we make up these colors and God has made these flowers and all the colors that we think we made are definitely been here already. For my birthday, I went to dinner with my nephew. We went to my nephew and my sister, and we went to one of my favorite restaurants, Noble 57. And I've been going there mm, for a long time, for a very long time, maybe 25 years. We've been going there. I had my 30th birthday dinner there. I've had many a birthday dinners there, many dates there, many lunches. It's one of my absolute favorite restaurants. I love the food. And I was a little disappointed this time around because the food was just, it was good. It was still good. It just was not as good as I remember. Like maybe they got a new chef because the yellowtail jalapeno was a little bit on the thicker side, which is not what I ever get from Nobu. And the fluke dry miso, maybe they had a new chef there, but the proportion of miso that they dropped on was overwhelming. It just wasn't the same. And we have favorites and we like to go to the same places because the food is consistent. You know it's going to be good. And we went for my nephew's 16th birthday last year and was a little disappointed. And then I was, so maybe Nobu is not my favorite anymore. That makes me sad. But hopefully they get it together and boost the quality back up so I could continue having them be my favorite restaurant. But anyways, so I went there with my nephew and my sister. That's how I kick-started my birthday. It was great. And then the Sunday, my aunt and my uncle wanted to cook for me. I love food, if anyone has not noticed that already, but my aunt and my uncle, they wanted to cook for me. So I said, okay, cool. Instead of them cooking for me at the house, I said, let's go to the park. So we were going to do a picnic in the park. It's just, I don't know. I've just been so out. I've been outdoorsy lately. So with me being outdoorsy lately, I wanted to do a picnic in the park. So we decided we would do, first we were going to do Fort Lee Park, which this is how you know we're not real picnickers. The park was closed. They had a bike marathon, so we had to pivot, which was fine. I wasn't upset about it. It's like, okay, cool, we'll go to Rockland. We went to Rockland State Park, which is another park that I enjoy going to. And we had the whole park to ourselves pretty much. We set up a table, we set up a tent. My uncle came, he set up the grill. He's Jamaican, so he cooked escabeche, he made jerk chicken, and it wasn't a big thing. Me, my sister, my nephew, my youngest nephew had baseball, so Gene was with Peyton for baseball. My mom was still in South Carolina, so it was just something real impromptu, just to celebrate me. And I was very appreciative, and I was happy that, my aunt, my uncle cooked for me. My sister, she just makes sure that my birthday is all. Majority of the time is me and her, and she always makes sure that my birthday is enjoyed well. So I had a great birthday. I had a really great birthday. For dinner, it's funny because I don't even really know what I was gonna put on, but I didn't really think about it to the last minute. And my nephew Maddox is like, "Can you please put on like some shoes, put on some heels, like get dressed, like no sweatpants, no." And I said, "Okay, wow." So I went into my closet and I started pulling things out. I know I pulled the dress out and it was a size 4, which means I need to start letting go a lot more because I have not been a size 4 in a long time. So that was a little reality check for me. But I was able to find a full outfit in my own closet: shoes, bag, jewelry, dress. And the dress was 10 years old. It was an Alexander Wang dress that I actually ended up buying after I bought it for Keisha Cole. I had dressed Keisha Cole for a short period of time, and I bought the dress for Keisha Cole. She wore that dress, and then Keisha Cole snapped at me because K Michelle also wore the dress, but it was cute. So I remember. But I bought the dress because it was really cute, and that's a memory that came with buying that dress. So I was able to pull that dress out, and I pulled that Alexander Wang dress out. I pulled some over the knee Chanel silver tip boots, my Chanel jumbo caviar. I had on my Chanel multi strand pearls. I had on my Chanel leather quilted cap. And the dress kind of looked like a tennis dress. So it kind of all went together and it all came out of my closet. I didn't have to buy one thing. I was very, very impressed with myself because birthdays, I have a closet full of birthday dresses. I have a closet full of Hervé dresses, of just dresses, Louboutin shoes, just stuff that I wore one time for a birthday. When I turned 30, it was Hervé May, and everyone had to come out in a Hervé dress, and I had 3. So I still have those 3 dresses, by the way. But all that to say, I didn't have to buy anything. I was able to go into my closet. I was able to find everything that I needed. And it ended up being a great night. I got to spend time with my sister and my nephew in one of my favorite places. And it kicked off my birthday. And I was happy. And I was so happy. And I was so happy. Barbecue and anything having to do with food, I'm happy. So I was happy with that. So all that to say, I am 45. Wow, I am 45. Yeah, I'm 45. And thank you to everyone who shouted me out, who posted me, who texted me, who called me. I am grateful. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. And just a little note to those who maybe your people's birthdays aren't as important to you as your birthday is or not. But my thing is, sometimes the smallest thing of just saying happy birthday, even just a like or it really does make a difference. And I know people are gonna be like, oh, I don't care, it doesn't matter to me, but it does. It's your day, and someone acknowledging you on your day, it does mean a lot. So for those who scroll past and don't like or don't wish someone happy birthday and they see the post, maybe you should think twice about that. It takes 2 seconds. I mean, I make sure to do it to everyone. Even if I don't know you, I say happy birthday, because everyone loves to be celebrated. And if you're not honest with yourself to say that you like to be celebrated, then, I mean, then that statement is just not for you, whatever. But I had a great birthday. I turned 45. I'm excited about what's to come. I had to really sit and think about where I was just 5 years ago, where I was 10 years ago, 35. 35 was an interesting year. 35, 2015 was an interesting year because my world was torn apart, but it was also restarting in a weird kind of way. Finally got a chance to start my career in film and television. I was able to get my first gig, which allowed me to grow a career over this last decade. I'm grateful for that. But I also was in a situation with a man that I was dating at the time that, and I don't want to, we love the well, not to say we, and I'm not speaking for everyone, but we like the bad boys, right? But when the bad boys come with things, and my whole world was my whole world was torn apart. And I'm not going to get too deep into it because it's 10 years ago and I remember a lot, but a lot of it I don't remember. But the guy that I was dating was in the streets at the time, and long story short, federal agents came to my house, knocking on my door, June 8th, 5 5:42 a.m. I will never forget. And it changed the trajectory of my family. And when I tell you, it has changed my whole perspective on who I date, how I date, what you do, how you work, 100%. So, oh my gosh, it was such a life-changing event. But either way, I made it through that. I was able to start film and television. I worked continuously for the last 10 years, maybe with a 2-week break in between each job. On top of that, the pandemic and then the strike and then being let go, which I never got let go from a job in my 10 years. But, sometimes things have to end, and that was fine. And I'm here, and I really had to think about where I was 10 years ago, just 5 years ago, 5 years ago when I turned 40, it was the pandemic. And I couldn't my trip I had a trip plan, I couldn't go on my trip. I ended up spending 40 with my mom. She did a little party for me, and I didn't it was great to turn 40, but I remember when I turned 40 that I was praying for God to renew my heart, give me a new heart, because I had went through a bad heartbreak, a few heartbreaks. I mean, you go through heartbreaks until you really learn. I mean, trust and believe, I've learned a lot, but I went through a lot of heartaches, heartbreaks. As you know, you reflect, and I was really just in deep thought about where I was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I was 40. I was turning 40. 5 years ago was also the pandemic. 5 years ago, I was dealing with pandemic. I was dealing with my new faith. I was learning faith all over again. Um, I think that was like my I feel like when I turned 40, it was like my real, okay, girl, you better get it together. Not that I was all over the place, but it was some things that I know I needed to change and fix and grow and do. And I'm very grateful that I had that time during the pandemic to focus on that. And then I had to think back, 35. 2015 was a weird year because it was a year that there was a lot that happened. There was a lot that happened in a positive and negative. So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that I'm able to see the growth in myself. I'm able to see a lot of growth. I'm very proud of myself. I'm very proud of the growth. I'm very proud of um I'm happy. I'm just very happy right now that I'm very happy that I was able to have this time to reflect on where I was 10 years ago, where I was 5 years ago, where I am right now. And I can honestly say that I am happy. I'm very happy about my growth. I'm very happy about my faith journey. I'm very happy about my podcast. I may not like all the spaces that I'm in, but for the most part, I'm pretty content. I'm content with my singleness. I'm content with not having children. It's so many things that people push on you when they feel like you're a certain age, or as a woman you're supposed to have kids, you're supposed to be married. And I know a lot of people who have kids who mm, I'm just going to say it, sorry, but I know a lot of people who have kids that shouldn't have kids. And not everybody was made to have kids. And for those who don't have children, maybe there could be so many reasons, but I feel like after you get a certain age, people should stop asking you, "Oh, you don't want kids? Oh, you didn't want kids?" Because it really makes me say, "Do you want the kids that you have? Did you want your kids?" Because so many of people that I know, they say, "Oh, I love my kids, but I wish I would have this," or "I love my kids, but," and I mean, whatever the reasoning being, I just think that after people reach a certain age, we should stop asking. Because for me, when people ask me, "You don't want kids?" I'm like, I'm 45 years old. Like, what am I going to do with a kid right now? If that wasn't the plan for God for me to have a child, He would definitely give me a husband and make sure that there was plenty of help around for me to have a kid at this age. And it's not my will, it's His. But right now, I have neither husband nor kids, and I'm quite happy with that. So if that's what God wants me to have, I still get a real hard period, okay? So if that's what He wanted me to have, I will. But until then, I'm very content with my singleness. I love being single. I love being able to do things on a whim. Like I'm actually just I'm in a decision making process of a trip that, oh, it's like a once, not once in a lifetime, because this place will be here, but the opportunity is once in a lifetime, and I'm kind of just stuck in a rock and a hard place of deciding whether or not I should go. So I'm not going to talk about it now because I haven't decided, but I want you guys to pray for me. I know that I have better discernment, better judgment, and better skills in making decisions now. So I feel like when I do finally decide to make the decision, that it will be a good one, and I will share that with you too. But it is a great opportunity to travel somewhere that I've never been, and I've pretty much been all over the world. So to light the ignite to ignite an excitement in me again to travel, I think this might be something. So, you know, I'm um I'm excited. I did get a little gig, a little short gig that was passed on to me from another supervisor that I worked with a long time ago. And I'm grateful for her because she gave me my first opportunity when I broke into our industry. And now she's given me a new opportunity in a different realm again. So I'm grateful for her. I'm really grateful for her. She taught me a lot. A lot of how I became the supervisor that I became came from a lot of the stuff that I learned from her in the beginning. So I'm grateful that now like, she helped me out in the beginning. Now she's helping me out in the beginning again, because it's kind of the same space but in a different lane. And I'm hoping that this new opportunity produces new opportunities down the line, but we'll see. So with that all being said, I have grown so much over the last 10 years. I definitely had to learn forgiveness. I had to learn patience. I had to forgive people that I didn't think that I would ever forgive. And when I realized how much I was holding on to, once I started letting go, it became life changing. Forgiveness is one of the things that I strive to all the time. And I've said this before, like, even when I got let go from my job in the way that I did and the trauma that it caused me and the people that stabbed me in the back, I wanted to make sure that in order for me to move forward, that I had to forgive those people. And it's not about them. It's more for you. And when you forgive, it's like a weight being lifted off of your shoulder. I mean, I can't explain it. I just suggest that everybody, if you are if you're stuck in a place of non-forgiveness or not non-forgiveness, unforgiveness, maybe you should check out Transformation Church. They did a series. It was a long series too, called FU University, Forgiveness University. Pastor Mike Todd. You could catch it on YouTube. It was really life changing for me because it just gave me the many different aspects of forgiveness and why we forgive and why it's important to forgive. And when I tried it and I started forgiving people, my world opened up, my life opened up, and things started pouring into me, because what I realized is that what you hold on to, you can't be given anything new if you're holding on to what's old. And when you don't forgive, it's like you swallowing the poison and thinking that the person who you're mad at is gonna die, and that just doesn't make any sense. But it's the best analogy that I could give. It's like you drinking the poison thinking the person that you're mad at is gonna die. Having to forgive, and how it's really changed my life and my perspective, and it's just it's given me more peace. And I know that everyone's like in this journey for peace and to be peaceful, but if you're on that journey for peace and you haven't started forgiving and you haven't learned forgiveness, I feel like it's something great for everybody. And if you are, yeah, because everyone thinks they're forgiving until it's time to forgive someone who's done something to you that's terrible, and that's happened to me several times. So I'm getting better, and the more you forgive, the easier it is to forgive. So, and it's the easier it is also too not to be offended, because what I've learned too in just forgiving people is that I don't get offended as easy. Like when someone does something to me, I'm able to take myself out of the situation and not be so offended, because we get so offended over everything. So I've been able to just, forgive quickly, and to forgive things that maybe I know 10 years ago I would have still held on to. So it's a good thing. It's opened up my world. It's a life changing. So if you haven't learned forgiveness, check out Mike Todd's series on forgiveness called FU University. It's on YouTube. That came out I want to say that came out in 2020, because it was definitely something that helped me to forgive a lot of forgive my dad, to forgive my sister, to forgive my aunt, to forgive my cousin, to forgive old friends. I mean, I could only tell you from my own experience, and it's key. It's definitely key to life. It's definitely key to life. So in my reflection of just over the last 10 years, over the last 5 years, just thinking of ways of, just thinking about my life and how I've been blessed, and some of the times that I thought they were the worst times ever, and I'm never going to get through this. And I did. It's like I went through some really tough and traumatizing situations, and I'm still here. And at the time I was going through those situations, I must have thought it was the worst. And now I'm like, things are starting to fall into place, and it's starting to make sense. It's really starting to make sense. Like, okay, I needed time to be alone to grow. I needed time to focus on myself. I needed time to focus on my growth through my career. I needed to focus on my growth of my faith. It's funny how you think you believe until you really start to learn, and then you see how much you don't know and how much you don't believe. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my time over the last 10 years. The pandemic gave me time to really get into just being curious about God. It gave me time to study old sermons, to listen to old sermons, to do Bible studies with my friends, to really get into reading. And it really opened me up to it opened up my faith journey into a way where I was able to hear God tell me that I needed to start this podcast. And this podcast has been hard. I'm not going to lie. It has been very hard because it's new, because it is a new lane for me. And on top of it being a new lane for me, it's something that I did not know altogether what to do. So I've been kind of learning on the go. I've been in a studio. Like, I've had friends help me. I've had friends not help me. I've lost some friends that helped me. It's just weird how things happen, and as I just sit and reflect, like, I just really been in a place of reflection, because I enjoy the spontaneity that I have, that I could do whatever I want whenever I want. I enjoy I enjoy my single life. I really do. I get to help my sister when I feel like, not that when I feel, but when, like, I contribute to my nephews in my way. So that's already a lot, because my sister has those two boys, and I don't understand how people have more than that, because kids are a lot of work. I mean, I thought work was a lot of work, but shout out to all those moms and dads who raise kids, go to work, take care of the house. That's a lot of work. I just got to take care of me, and that's a lot. It's not. So shout out to all the women who are single, who don't have kids, who are content and happy. And shout out to all the ones that do, and all the ones that are trying, all the ones that want. Your desire is your desire. It's just not mine right now. Netflix for having all these great shows. And as I'm reflecting on my life, it's like I get drawn to shows that are meaningful in a way, in such a way. So I was watching Forever on Netflix, and I'm sure if you have not watched it, you need to check it out. It's such a cute show. It's based off of a Judy Blume book. I grew up reading Judy Blume. It's crazy how, when you think about the things that you read and watched when you were younger, how they influenced how you desire to have relationships. And I remember wanting, like, how the show is set, how the show is shot and set up. It's just love. It just, there's no age for love. You get love when you're born, you have love throughout your life. But when you find that person and you dream, it's like movie love, and it's what Judy Blume introduced to me, and it's what I desired my whole life. It's probably why I made so many bad decisions. And not to say that we need to follow a book, but it was a great representation of young love, and it brought me back to the times when I was young and in love, and it was such a great show, and it made me desire to want to be, have young love again, and to hold hands, and to know that those things are possible, and to, yeah, it was a cute show. It was a cute show. It definitely gave me some time to think about relationships and how I want my relationship to be. And I know you're not supposed to make lists, but when I pray, I want to be very specific. And the things that I'm being specific about are totally different now. Like, I definitely want to make sure that when I do get into a relationship, that my person is a great communicator, and a great communicator, someone who's patient, someone who's forgiving, someone who has self-control, someone who cares about their body enough that they take care of it, in a way of eating right and working out. As I'm getting older, I'm definitely understanding that I think about my future more. Like, I think, okay, this is my second half. If I make it to 90, how do I want to be when I get to 90? And I see 90-year-olds that are still walking around, taking care of themselves, still working out, still enjoying life, and that's where I want to be. But I also know that in order to get to that place, that I have to do the work now. So I've been really starting to think about, just different ways to incorporate working out into my life, and making that just making that a routine, so that it's something that becomes something that I do all the time, so that it doesn't become so tedious. And it's something now I don't want to do. Like, it's like, oh gosh, I don't want to work out, but I do enjoy going outside and walking and hiking and kayaking. So I've been trying to do those kind of things to stay active. But I know that picking up maybe running and some weight training might help too, because I want to definitely want to be able to be mobile and agile and be out when I'm older. My mom is a great example. She is I'm not going to say her age because she gets on me about that, but my mom is going to be a great age. She is still very active. She plays golf and she used to play tennis, and she travels and she's out and about, and I don't worry about her. My mom has great health, and I know that those things are all come with her. She eats well and she works out, and she has a good mental space, and I'm not really, she doesn't really stress, because she says she doesn't, and I could attest to that, because my mother doesn't play those games. When the world gets stressful, she gets gone. So I'm just, just thinking about things like that, and how I want my relationships to be. And then I started watching another show. So Netflix now has tons of these international shows on, and I started watching a show called Heavenly Ever After. It's a Korean show. It's in English. You don't have to watch it with captions. And it's a show about a couple who is separated by death, who meet again in heaven. She's 80, he is in his mid 30s. You have to watch the show. I'm not going to give it to you. But it made me think about, if I made it to heaven and the question was asked, what age would you want your body to be in heaven? Not your mind, not your heart, not everything you learn, all your wisdom, all your understanding, all that, everything that you've gained throughout your life to whatever age you are, that will remain, but you get to choose your age of how you want your body. So I started thinking about that. I'm like, damn, what would I say? Like, I definitely would probably want my body before I started drinking, like, partying and drinking. Um, and I kind of thought about 24. I liked myself at 24. 24, I was, I had beautiful, long, full hair. This is before I started doing weaves and all the other things that change, that you deal with the effects of now. But I had beautiful hair and great skin. I loved my body. 24 was a good age. So I think that it would be 24. What do you guys think? If you was to go to heaven and God was to say, what age would you want to be in heaven, like your body, not your mind, not your heart, like your body, like you get to choose the body of an age that you already were. Think about that and let me know what that is. We're going to talk about that. The show was really a really interesting show, because it it went through this woman's life, and she thought she wasn't good enough to make it to heaven. And when she started reflecting on her life, it just goes to show how God really does make everything for our good. And as I'm going and reflecting through my life, and I'm thinking about bad situations, or who I used to be, or things I used to do, or times that I wasn't the best, it all has grown, it all has snowballed, it all has compacted, it all has helped to become who I am right now. And I'm pretty happy with that. So that show kind of, it's just, sometimes you just need you need something else to spark an idea in yourself to kind of give you some thoughts. And that show did. It's called Heavenly Ever After. It's such a cute show. And it really made me think about my life in a way of how I live. And, we all think that we do right and we're doing good and we're living in the way that we're supposed to, but are we really? Are we really? If you died tomorrow, do you really think that you would make it to heaven? And I mean, I think that a lot more of us will be there than we think. And this show kind of, not to say that this show is gospel, but it was definitely, definitely gave me insight. It definitely gave me insight. So Forever kind of reminded me of that young love that I wanted when I was young, and kind of sparked some new things, new little things in me. And then this show Heavenly Ever After just gave me some thoughts of like, girl, are you really like making the right decisions? Are you really living in the way that God wants you to live? Are you really following Jesus the way that you pray and the way that you say? So it really made me think that. It really made me think about that, and it's still something that I'm thinking about as I'm just growing in my faith, and just as I'm growing as a woman, as I'm growing as a business owner, as I'm growing as a podcast host. Podcasting is not easy. Let me just tell you, I'm a one-woman show. You should have saw me earlier. I'm in here. I got my lights. I got this. I'm tripping over things. The lights are all falling over. I didn't have the tripod up right. This fell over. This fell over. I got to drag this chair. My cats are on their best behavior. They are not like jumping all over me, which I'm very grateful for. So to be in my house, it's a blessing, and I'm very happy that I was able to be introduced to utilizing my own house. So this is what I'm doing now, trying to find different angles and cute spaces. And here we are. This is season 4, episode 3, new and in between. I'm still working it out. We're releasing on Monday. No, hear me, Mondays. We used to release on Mondays at 5 a.m. Now we release Wednesdays, 5 p.m. And I'm trying to see if that works. I'm trying to think maybe Fridays might be better. I don't know, but please be patient with me, everyone, as I am pivoting, as I am trying to change things, as I am learning new things, as I'm trying to figure out how to make this show still go with me funding by myself. Also, to just to remind everyone and to ask everyone and to ask everyone and to remind everyone, if you didn't listen to episode 1, I do have a Ko-Fi link that's in my link tree on my Instagram. I'll put the link down here also. And the link tree Ko-Fi link is for donations. I am a one-woman show. I am self-funded, and I am open to donations of all kinds to help me to, editing is expensive, and I mean just everything, just, it helps. It definitely does help. And yeah, so there we are. I have a little Ko-Fi link app in the bio. If anyone feels intrigued or led to donate or help, give up that Starbucks money, because when I added up my Starbucks bill and realized how much I spent in Starbucks, I started donating that money. So if anyone wants to help me out there, check the link in my bio, and I will drop the link here, somewhere, to be somewhere. If you feel led. I forgot that. I'm not that I forgot I did it. I'm just not. I've been funding it myself because I've been working, but now I'm not working. So what I do get is to pay my bills and to live life, and everything else extra is what I'm putting into my podcast, but there's not as much extra. So that help would be grateful. I would definitely appreciate that. What else? What else? What else? What else is going on? What else is going on? I did get a small gig. God is blessing me. And for me, it just seems like every month he blesses me with a little opportunity or a new opportunity that allows me to get through the next month. And the more I surrender and submit to God, as far as like giving him my worries, my new thing now is that when I start worrying about something, I say, wait, stop. God, I need you to take this worry from me. I need you to take that worry from me. I need you to take this from me. I'm afraid of this. I'm fearful of this. And I say it out loud and I say, please take it all from me. Because he says that, not to be anxious about anything, not to worry about tomorrow. And when we do, give it to him. And that's what I've been doing. And it's really been working. And reading the Bible is like a script to my life, which I'm realizing more and more is that I went back to the beginning. I started from the beginning, because what I'm realizing is a lot of people have learned for their life or learned, their way. And where I'm at right now, I just needed to go back to the beginning to be reminded of how God created us in his image and how he wanted everything for us to be good. And there's certain things that happened that caused the fall of humankind, Adam and Eve, but also in knowing that what God wanted for us originally. And just, it brings so much clarity to my life. And if you haven't read, and if you're not reading, or if you should, because it makes so much sense. And I'm not gonna lie, it makes so much sense. there's nothing in the Bible that people in this world have not gone through, like even myself. And it may not be in a specific thing, but it definitely gives me a guide. It makes me not feel so isolated when I'm in situations, because there are things that happen, and it didn't just happen to me, because there's situations in the Bible. Jesus was betrayed. There were unbelievers, there were believers, there were people who had to be convinced that, there's all kind of things. But at the end of the day, when I start to feel doubtful, or when I think that I can't make it, or when I think that I'm not strong enough, those stories in the Bible remind me of people that were like me myself, and how they got through, and how God pulled them through. And it's given me so much peace, and it's actually really helped me so much just in this time that I've been off since December. Oh, one other thing I actually wanted to share with everyone. So I took this class. I said that this time that I had off, I was going to focus on learning to be a better steward of my finances. Having money does not mean that you know money, and I've learned that because I've always had money. I've always worked. I've always, over the last 10 years, I worked consistently, so I've been in a good space. But when you don't have money, or when you don't have money coming in continuously, you realize how bad you are with money. Well, this is for me. And it wasn't that I was bad with money, because I took this class, and the last session of the class was Monday. And what I realized is that I had all the pieces, right? I had all the pieces, because all the pieces that I had are what helped to maintain me throughout this time. So I haven't been doing everything wrong, but now I just know how to utilize those pieces into making them into a full puzzle. It's like before, I was trying to shove them in different places that they didn't fit. In this class, it just gave me a little bit of clarity on, just what things I need to make a priority as I get older, making sure that I have all my insurances, making sure that I have a will, making sure, a will or a trust. We don't think about it. And it's important. Like, it's really important. I don't want to leave my family with burden, and I want my family to be able to grieve me. I don't want to leave them with burden. So how important it is for me to set up a will, and, thinking about my retirement and what my freedom number is. And I wouldn't even know what a freedom number was if I didn't take this class. But the associate pastor of a church that I watch online, Change Church with Pastor Darius Daniels, they have a campus in Ewing. And a friend of mine who's also been on the podcast, Fred Tessier, he goes there, and sometimes I'll drive out there, and I've sat with him a few times. And it was so all that to say is, the associate pastor, Will Johnson, he has a history, not a history, I guess a history in finance. And he started this class, Spare Change, and it's basically just a class that teaches you those key elements: insurances, and the importance of a trust or a will, and retirement savings, and, just figuring out what these numbers are, and other ways to invest and make money, and budgeting and planning, and how important those things are. And not realizing that bad days will come, but if you plan for them, they're not as bad. So this class, Spare Change, I'm gonna try to see if I could get him. I really want to get him on my podcast, because it would good for him to really talk about the class. And then maybe some of you guys would be interested in taking it. And even if you think, because you have money, it was very informative to me. It was very, very, very informative to me also. And just knowing it also gave me a little bit of reinsurance that I'm not so far as I'm not as far off as I think. So I do have some of the key elements. It's now just putting in place into that puzzle, so that now I could have a better picture of what it is, my end goal of what it is that I need to do. So shout out to Will and the class that I took, Spare Change. And I'm going to see if I could get him on. If not, I'm definitely going to share a link that you guys could check out the curriculum for the class and maybe take it. It was really interesting. And I've taken a few classes, like, you take some of the classes from some of the money guys and the investment guys, and, they're exciting, because they're teaching, about how to make more, and this and that. And those classes are all interesting, but when you finish, it's like, okay, now what? So I feel like this class that I just took, the spare change class, kind of put my mind in a space to where I could be more realistic about the things that I can do, the ways that I could save, the things that I could cut back, how I've been wasting money. Just, it just put my mind into a different perspective, so that now I could get those things in order. I could get a clear picture, and then when I get that clear picture, then I can move into the bigger realms of investing. And 45. I turned 45. I still feel good. I still look good. I've been focusing on my faith and increasing that, and that's just every day, every day, every day. I've been drawn to new little shows and things that are just making me think in a different kind of way. It also has changed the way that I watch television and the things that I read and the music that I listen to, because I'm realizing everything that goes in definitely is like a chain reaction. It causes something, something, something else. So I'm being very mindful about the music that I listen to, the shows that I watch, the people that I surround myself with, because I know that this is a time of growth, and I don't want anything poison in this soil, because I'm gonna. Right now, what's happening is good growth. So that's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at right now. That is where I'm at right now. I have some guests lined up. It's just a matter of me figuring out, do I want to go to the studio, or am I going to try to figure out some other places to do it? But either way, it's all coming to me. It's all coming to me. So thank you for being patient. Thank you for watching. Thank you for clicking that link in my bio to check out my Ko-Fi me, to give me some of that Starbucks money to help me to continue going on. And that's all. I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful that my life has been opened up in the way that it has. 5 months ago is totally different than today. 5 months ago, I feel totally different than I do today. 5 months ago, I was in a different space mentally. I was in just a different space altogether. But through hard work, therapy, also shout out to my therapist, because I did make that a routine. I was making sure that I was scheduling that appointment every week to help me to process what I was going through, so that I did not allow that to harden and to fester or to make my heart hard. I needed to work through that, and she helped me with that. So 5 months ago to who I am today, 5 years ago to who I am today, 10 years ago to who I am today, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. So I am going to post all those links. I'm going to hope that you guys watch Heavenly Ever After. Think about that question. If you got asked what age you would be in heaven, like your body, not your mind, heart, and spirit, not that whole thing. I'm just talking about your body. If you got a choice of what body you would want to have in heaven, what age would you be? And just, how am I doing? Like, I got people who watch, I got people who follow. Like, what do you guys want to hear me talk about? Who do you want to see on my show? What do you want to know? This is what podcasting is. It's building a community of people who are like you. So shout out to all my single ladies and my single men who aren't married and who don't have kids and who are content. How do you guys feel about that? How do you feel about the question, do you want kids? All questions that I would like to know. I just want to know the perspective of people that are like me. Um, how do you answer that question? How do you feel when people ask you that question? Some it's funny. Everyone wants you to be with someone, but sometimes being by yourself is so grand. It is. I could sleep across the whole bed. I could do whatever I want. It's just me that I have to worry about. And not don't get me wrong, I want to be in a relationship, but I'm going to enjoy this part of me not being in a relationship until I am. So this is just a little episode for me to make sure that I'm being consistent and dropping and letting you guys keep up with what I got going on until I start getting some guests. Next 2 weeks, I'm gonna have a guest. It'll be a surprise and it's gonna be interesting. And I'm excited because I'm trying something new and I hope it really works. And I hope you guys really like it. And until then, peace. And in between, check it out. YouTube. Click, like, and subscribe. Subscribe. Thanks.